Can you hear me, Cambo? Oh.
Yeah, I got ya.
Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, let's see how that is. Can you hear me, Cambo?
Yeah, I got ya.
Oh, fuck this. I'm not getting audio out of there.
Just throw the subtitles on.
Let's go back to there. What's that?
Tell you what, it's an odd old game, but Tassie's playing nice basketball, and Melbourne are just scrapping and staying with them, eh?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got ya.
I've sort of solved the problem, but then I had to change another thing, so I don't know if it has solved the problem. Anyway, we'll get there in a second. I'll update some things. OBS. Are we getting anything through on there now? Yeah, we are. Okay. So we should hopefully have some sound if anyone's actually watching. It says it's giving me sound out, so that's positive. Let me just try it now.
Oh, nice touch.
Is the sound working? Something coming through? Okay, it's frozen again. One thing works, the other doesn't. Bit of a lag.
Oh, Milton Doyle.
YouTube is not receiving the. I've lost your video, my friend. Can you hear me now? Oh, there we go. Sort of solved the problem, but. All right, so we've got sound going out now. You can hear me, Cambo?
Yeah, I got ya.
All right, I think we might actually be cooking with gas finally. I just got to get my live stream working again, and we'll be really cooking with gas. You just score up that there, Cambo.
It's disappeared. I think it's 42, 43 last time I looked in the Jackjumpers' favour.
43, 42. We'll go with that for now. I'll pull the ESPN back up in a sec. There we go. That's up to date. Just got an ad, so I've got my stream working. We're all somewhat cooking, relatively, possibly, maybe with gas. I think I've learnt my lesson. So anyway, it only took us to, what are we, half time?
Yeah, that's all right. Just warmed up.
Yeah,
Warmed up with
exactly.
2 quarters of NBL.
Yeah, exactly. Just, only took us 2 quarters. It's better than, 2 rounds or 2 months.
We're on.
And hey, at the end of the day, the people that have stuck around, and we appreciate that. Get involved in the chat. Tell us what Muppets we are. We've got no problem with that. Imagine how it would have been even worse if Dunny was here, but he forgot that there was a very significant event in his family, so he might join us later.
It'd be like a
He's off for a
Spider-Man
flyer.
meme. That Spider-Man meme where we're all pointing at each other, just standing there.
Yeah. Correct. Well, Cambo, you've actually been able to watch the first half, so what are you taking from it, mate? What have
Mate,
you taken from it?
Mate, Tassie are playing really good basketball, and the 3 imports all have really good chemistry. Johnson, Hamilton, and yeah, a little Tiger. Tiger hasn't contributed too many points, but ball handling wise and just sticking to Scott Roth's sets, it's been brilliant. But in saying that, Milton Doyle has been chipping away and pretty untouchable when he decides to contribute. But Melbourne have just been scrapping in there. The Jackjumpers just can't maintain that run, and they let Melbourne go on runs. And whether it's an N1 or a 3-pointer, just not quite putting the foot to the throat just yet. But we'll see. Bryce Hamilton's chipped in, I think, about 13, and Johnson's, I think, on 16 at the half. So the Tasmanian Jackjumper imports are cooking at the moment.
That's what you want your imports. You're paying the big bucks for, isn't it? Bring them in.
But yeah, we'll find in the balance too. If Tiger Campbell's quite content to play the role they've got him there for, while the other two are happy to fill the score sheet, then beautiful. You've got players that are going to buy into the Jackjumpers mantra, I guess.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, just looking back at the stats, as you said, Hamilton working plenty. He's played nearly 17 minutes through the first 2. 11 field goal attempts, 6 made. So leading the way alongside Johnson, 5 from 7.
So what's that? He's about 50. He's above 50% field goal percentage, is he?
Yeah, 55.
Yeah.
Hamilton 55, Johnson 67. Josh Bannon, he'll claim 100%. 3 points made. So
I think they've left some points in the paint there with Magnay. I think they had a few opportunities in and around the paint with Magnay and is it Mag or Gak?
Majok Dang.
Majok Dang, yeah, he's left a few points in the paint. So if they sort that sort of out and choose that, that's just limited shot selection. They could have kept the scoreboard ticking over a little bit more. But on the flip side for Melbourne, Jesse Edwards has been solid. You can see him trying, but he just hasn't quite found his feet.
Looks like they've been smacking some threes, or aiming for threes. 4 from 16, Melbourne from outside.
Yeah, Milton Doyle's contributed a few, and I think Fabian Krislovic hit a pretty big one too.
Yeah, so Milton 1 from 4 from outside the arc. But we were talking about this today in our group chat with Dunny. Mate, how do you see this shaping up in terms of the season? Like it's there's a lot of talk about how even and close it's going to be, right? So
just some big unknowns, really. Like, as in, a lot of teams have lost cores. Whether you start with Perth and obviously the big one, Bryce Cotton. Like, how do you replace something like that? But then they've gone out and rebalanced their roster, you could almost say. So with a big man like Joe Lawala and Mason now, they could be better than what they were with the same system. So you never know. And then you've got 40 up in Cairns, and there's just a lot of unknowns this year. I think a lot of it on the rosters, like just from the surface, is going to come down to the role players, or like those men that are coming off the bench. Like every roster is stacked this year, but it's going to come down to which teams have the extra pieces and that can fire off the bench, really. Like you're looking at your sort of Sean Bruce's or like Nick Marshall for Tasmania, etc. Shayley, like whoever can find that hidden gem off the bench to keep ticking over, you'd be, I think, halfway there, I think.
That's it. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be those second units that are going to become so crucial as we push on into this later in the year. And it's all about, I guess, as you say, how it shapes from there. So half time here, though, it's as everyone sort of suggested, it's going to be close. And even without CG43, Melbourne have a 1 point lead, 47-46. So, yeah, it's right in the balance. It's there for the grabbing. You know, they always say the premiership quarter, the third quarter. Not that you win too many premierships in game one, week one, but it's just good the basketball's back, isn't it?
Oh, and it packs my state arena on a Thursday night in Tasmania. Like, it just goes to show how big it's getting, really.
Yeah, that's it. I was talking to someone the other day, and the amount of my mates who are rugby league, AFL fans, those sorts of things, and they're talking about the NBL, like guys who weren't paying attention to it before. They're really excited with, we've got these European teams out here. The New Orleans Pelicans are out here next. What's that? 2 weeks away. It's really starting to build into something, and yeah, like I'm absolutely pumped where we're sitting at the moment. We're, as you say, week one, but there's plenty of games happening, and I mean, as we speak too, of course, don't forget that that one of those European games is in play. Panathinaikos up against Partizan, and it's at halftime as well. Partizan leading 44-37, but they'll obviously play Sydney and Adelaide. You're going down for it on the weekend, mate.
Mate, I cannot wait. It's actually the first time anyone has seen Bryce Cotton suit up for Adelaide, so it's going to be brilliant. And I mean, first hit out for these full squads. It should be good. It should be a packed atmosphere. You've also got, touching on the other code, you've also got the Bulldogs Penrith game down there too. So that whole precinct will be absolutely going off, especially a lot of supporters. Well, all the supporters, the first time these two European giants have been down. So the Greek community and the Serbian community will be out in force to see their teams that they won't normally be able to see. So mate, it should be intense, and it should be a really good test for the Sydney Kings too.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how two of the sides that are arguably the favourites for our competition are going to shape up. It's really a good chance for them to play against some of the best in Europe, and then obviously the Melbourne teams will get the chance to have a crack at New Orleans. What New Orleans exactly looks like, we're not too sure. They've said they'll bring out pretty much everyone, so that's going to be exciting. But on top of that, you're throwing, you've got first in-season look at the Breakers and the Bullets, and a very new-look Bullets side. Jalen Adams, one of their headlines, a player who can certainly put up an MVP season. Then we see Cairns again, as you touched on it before, 40 up there. They'll take on South East Melbourne on Saturday evening. And then Perth, the new-look Perth. No Bryce Cotton. They will host Tasmania, who Tasmania will play their second game of the season on Saturday. And plenty of teams haven't even had a look. And then Sunday, Melbourne and New Zealand will play their second games as well. So there's a lot of basketball this weekend, which is really exciting, and that'll flow into, the season really getting rolling. We've got the Ignite. We've got everything else happening, when we get over Christmas there. I think there's something like 20-odd days straight of basketball. It's
Christmas Day fixtures.
I can't wait. I've got my tickets already for Christmas. Looking forward to that. The big highway clash. The rivalry between the defending champions, Illawarra, up against the Kings.
To touch on the defending champions, it's going to be a very interesting retooled squad with the big inclusion of obviously JaVale McGee, who has admittedly said he's been playing bridesmaid really the last few years, playing a role, but he wants to show that he can be the star attraction. So that should be interesting. But there is questions over the departure of Trey Kell, and they haven't really brought in a like-for-like sort of someone who can control that tempo. Whereas Dave O'Hickey has showed in the international fixtures that he can match it with the best, but he is a very fast-paced guard. So whether Davo can take that next leap to be able to just control the tempo. They also re-signed recently like Bilali Bales, so whether he can take the next step too to integrate into that side, but it would just be interesting. It really will put Justin Tatum's coaching credentials to the test. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it will be interesting how that all shapes up, I suppose. But as you said, time will tell. We will watch and wait with bated breath as to how that all shapes up. But we've got a cracking half to come here. Looking forward to seeing, I think, again, it's going to be some of these imports telling the story in this second half here once they get back underway at MyState Bank Arena.
Yeah, I think, it'll just be efficiency and grind really. Jackjumpers will just play their style, and Melbourne just if Melbourne start to get through their sets, obviously, and start getting some nice open shots, then yeah, it could be trouble. But we'll see what happens.
Certainly will. Plenty of sport happening around at the moment. As you said, you got AFL and NRL getting to the pinnacle. We talked about that now around the grounds episode that dropped a little bit earlier today. So if people haven't already checked that out, and of course chuck a subscribe on the channel, hit the bell. That way we'll let you know when we're actually going live and those the episodes dropping, and not only the episodes dropping, but these live streams coming as well. They'll have sound in future. That's amazing. We know what we're doing, man.
No Spanish subtitles here.
No, exactly. Oh, we might have had to be doing sign language and trying to spell out everything. I can do the alphabet, but I can't do any words. So we're in a lot going on. But yeah, as I said, lots of other sport, mate. NRL. So as you touched on the Bulldogs and Panthers, we've got the Raiders and Sharks on Saturday night as well. So that's a bit of a rivalry. Dunny's a Sharks fan who'll join us possibly later on, and I'm a Raiders fan. So yeah, certainly. I'll tell you what. If you're a neutral the other night, how was that? You would have enjoyed that Raiders Broncos game. That had everything.
Oh, yes and no. You sort of lose the enjoyment when you get a few dodgy-ish calls, or calls that you can't really fathom the interpretation. But anyway, I've never seen someone get headbutt and sin bin, but we won't go there. But I don't know. No matter what way you look at it, it paints a good narrative. Like, I mean, yeah, it's exciting footy, I guess.
It is. Look, at the end of the day, mate, I'm a Raiders fan, but I've got to the point now that says, if you're 16 up with 20 to go and you can't win a game, well, it's as much on you as it is on pointing fingers at anyone else. But, geez, yeah, look, mate,
honestly, do you want to give Ricky Stewart? Do you want to give Ricky Stewart any more fire? Like, honestly, if there's one bloke that you don't want to make the chip on his shoulder any bigger, they'll just grow an extra leg this weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting though, right? Like you've been there, you play extra time, 90-something minutes, like that's got to take it out of the tank, and the emotional bit too. Like they thought they'd won it twice. Like so, it's not just the energy of 90 minutes; it's the fact of yes, we've got it done. The relief washes over you, and then hold the phone. And I understand the bunker, and yes, it's uplifted decisions, but geez, it's the heartbreak of even fans. You can't really celebrate anything. Like I was humping around the lounge room after Fogarty scored, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, hang on, we've come back. Same thing, yeah, with the deflection anyway. I mean, it is rugby league, it's theatre, it's all those things. That's why we love all of our sport. But yeah, it's hard as a fan to know whether to genuinely celebrate and have those genuine moments, right?
Yeah, could be worse. Could be a Bulldogs fan, and you've got a casualty ward limping their way into the final. But poor buggers.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting. Panthers versus Panthers Light.
Yeah, that will be a clash. I'm sure I'll be able to hear it from the walls of Kudos Bank Arena on Sunday night.
Yeah, parking's going to be a good time down there on Sunday, isn't it?
Public transport all the way.
Yeah, exactly right. You get amongst it. I think you still get the free public transport, your ticket and stuff, don't you, these days? Surely.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cambo's like, well, I'm not paying for my train ride either way.
I had a Bucks show on the Saturday, so I'll be staying down there. I'll be coming in hot. Don't you worry.
Oh, gee, what a weekend! What a weekend!
Big weekend. I don't know if I'll be able to. A double header of basketball. That's a long afternoon, so it should be an interesting watch.
Certainly is. What's your take on this Ignite Cup stuff?
Don't know really. Yeah, it's good. It is what it is, I guess. I don't know. Just trying to emulate. I don't know. I really don't know. It's good. I like the initiative and stuff, but whether we're trying to implement it too fast or not, I don't know yet.
Yeah, look, it was interesting. I was listening to the actual NBL podcast, NBL Now, I think it's called, today, and they were talking about the fact of, I think it was on there, it might have been on the pre-game. It was on something I was listening to anyway. They're talking about, it's a much longer season, and I get there's a big disparity in terms of the income between the NBL and the NBA, but I was like, yeah, these guys are playing, what is it now, like 30-something games? Versus the NBA who's playing 82. Like, again, I know there's an income difference, all those sorts of things, but we're not even playing half the competition they are. Most weeks, you at worst will have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. And you might play a Thursday and then a Sunday. It's not like they're playing back-to-back days at times. They'll have four in 6, 4 in 7. Like it's a big business over there, but and it's probably we're never going to get to that scale, I don't think. But I would view that there's probably a piece that they probably want to get more games. They've talked about expansion of more teams as well, which will add more games. But that's what this is about, right?
But then you'll end up in the tricky spot because a lot of players will play your NBL season. Sorry. So whether they finish that, they'll go to Puerto Rico or like touch up anywhere else to lead into summer league. Where if we go too many games, you might throw that out. They might miss the start of the Puerto Rican league or wherever else they're going to tune up before summer league. So you may find players opting for that. I'm not quite around the EuroLeague schedule, but if the EuroLeague schedule fits in better with what they're trying to achieve, it could sort of impede our trying to get those imports who are trying to claw their way back into the NBL. But I guess that's something that Larry Kesselman and the team will work through and stuff. I mean, with the last few years they've come in leaps and bounds, so that should only get better. So I don't know, put our faith in the power brokers' hands, and we'll see what they come up with. Maybe an NBL team in Newcastle in the near future. I don't know. I'm just suggesting.
Yeah, we'd get 3 fans there. Back up away. I don't know if your KO is kicking in. My KO is not kicking in, so.
Yeah, okay. We're at 52-50 Melbourne at the moment, so it's still back and forth.
Again, if you're out there tuning in, jump into the comments. A handful of people that are there. Thank you for jumping on for our first live stream of the NBL. First watch-along, I should say, not live stream. Really enjoying it now that we've got things worked out and technology mostly working.
But in terms of, like we were talking about the games before, about the New Orleans Pelicans coming over versus the EuroLeague, it's going to be very interesting because I feel like the NBL style of the physical, fundamental is more NBL. And a lot of people have said that to me, that NBL is a more enjoyable watch because you're not getting the high volume of threes anymore and stuff. You still have that sort of pure aspect of basketball, whereas obviously the NBL and when New Orleans come out, it's all about the perimeter and high volume of threes and whatnot. So it should be interesting watching the Partizan and Olympiacos games, or Panathinaikos games, sorry, compared to whatever squad New Orleans brings out. To be honest, I really don't know what sort of squad they're going to bring out. Zion will be on the sideline in a dinner suit, but
I was going to say they said they'll bring them all out, but they didn't say they'd play. So
extremely, extremely large dinner suit for Zion, by the way.
Yeah, we're working again. My man Tiger Campbell with a 3.
He's come through in clutch. He's efficient.
Can play, the big guy. As you said, he's about 40% hair.
40% hair. What scares me is he looks tiny on the court, similar to Paddy Mills, but he's actually 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, I managed to host in my day job. I managed to host a box at Melbourne United. It must have been last season. And one of our brokers is there, and they're talking about the fact they're like, he's that guy's not very big, and I'm like, no, he just doesn't look very big because he's up against those guys. It's, the Muggsy Bogues effect, right? Like when he was in the NBA and he was 6'2" and he looked like he was coming up to everyone's knee.
Yeah, Steph Curry's 6'3", so Steph Curry would be bigger than most of the average NRL players, to be honest. But you just wouldn't pick it.
Yeah, you just got to remember that the other guys are, there's guys out there that are 6'11".
Hey, I'll tell you what, I saw the Sydney Kings released their pre-season photo of all their squads. Tell you what, Andrew Bogut is a tall man, deceptively tall.
He is. I'll tell you who's a big man is Luke Longley. I met him. We managed to treat ourselves a couple of years ago to courtside. And as you know, Cambo, I'm not a small guy. I'm 6'3.5". And I felt like I was nestled into his chest like a little baby. I've got the photo, and it is. I've never felt so small in my life, but at the same time, I kind of felt safe. It was nice. He's the nicest guy you'll meet.
Oh, mate, you could picture him coming out of a lumberjack's cabin, though, couldn't you? Just something out of one of those movies.
Yeah, but even then, like once you talk to him and stuff, like he's just like he's got a real gentle nature to him. He's like what's the guy? It's probably not a great comparison. Is it the Green Mile and the guy that brings everything back to life?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
feel
I'll
I
wear.
feel like he was obviously a tough guy on the court and a big body, but I just feel like he's one of those guys. Off the court, he's just nice natured and doing the
Oh,
right thing.
you can imagine the grandkids going, "What did you do, Dad?" And you'd be like, "Oh, nothing. Just played a little bit of basketball." Little do I know that he's part of one of the greatest dynasties of all time.
Yeah, just played alongside some guy called Michael Jordan. There's another three for
Never.
the Jackies.
Yeah, no biggie. No biggie at all.
Jackies hit the lead, 6 from 14 from outside the arc.
Yeah, big shot there. 6 from 14, very efficient.
Yeah, it's good numbers, isn't it? So Johnson with a couple, Bannon 2 from 2 from outside. Melbourne can't get there.
I think Josh Bannon will be one of the acquisitions of the year, especially like locals.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's always the big talk. Is where are you spending your import spots, all those sorts of things. It's why Bryce's naturalisation is an added blow to Perth, who carried him as an import for so long.
Oh, yeah, you've got to ask the question, what set the wheels in motion? Like, as in, like, I don't know how he's, like, what changed now to get his citizenship. But yeah, hopefully, I had a bit of I had a bit of a heated debate on one of the posts on Instagram there where I said that FIBA Bryce will be as scary as FIBA Paddy Mills. People didn't like me comparing the two, but he's definitely, I think, on his day. I mean, you can't compare NBL to NBA, but he's definitely one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah, he's a absolute gun, isn't he? So it's, Yeah, you would think so. There we go. Sound should come back in. We'll sound again. Dear, oh dear.
So we've got a foul here, but I think it's before the shot. Your baseline or sideline inbound.
Sideline inbound. Hamilton to take it.
They make if they make this 3, it turns into a foul game. So we'll see.
Yeah. Big play.
Four-point play could make things interesting, Matt.
Certainly will. Taking the time, building the suspense.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. A bit of theatrics here.
There it is. There's the 3.
Oh, there it is. Clutch. Johnson.
He's got a 25, I think, from the night. So
Massive. Yeah, like I said, despite the whatever the result may be, the imports for Jack Jumpers have impressed.
they certainly have. Johnson and Hamilton. Campbell's been probably a little quiet, but it's just been more of a role play. Again, everyone can't be banging the rock all the time.
No, just facilitate. And I mean, when you're hot, you're hot. You just got to feed the hot hand, really. That's what if you've got a point guard who can do that. If it's not your night, you can delegate to other people, then that's where you win championships.
Yeah, Hamilton 24 points, Johnson 22 on the night. That's some good numbers.
Efficient,
4 rebounds.
efficient 11 from 8 too. Yeah.
Johnson's got a double as well, 22 and 10 rebounds.
Nice, busy debut.
That's what you want.
And I mean, you look at this Melbourne side; they haven't exactly been fluent, or very fluid tonight. But you get Chris Goulding back in, and that changes the opposition's defensive schemes. You can't give that man an inch of space. So I'm sure they'll be right once they settle into a few games.
And like we talked about too, how often is Milton Doyle going to shoot 7 from 21?
Well, hopefully not often.
Hopefully against the Kings.
Yeah. Hopefully against the Kings.
We've got 6.2 on the clock, 2-point ball game. United lead here on the road to get their season underway. Milton Doyle at the line. It's a foul game now.
I don't know, can he step back and hit it? Because he's hit his step backs tonight, but anything else, it's been rocks.
He's got 20 points. He's 4 from 4 at the line. Make that 5 from 5.
Yeah,
it's not bad when you're shooting at 33%. You still hit 20 points. He's still leading the scorers for them, and you'll probably end up second leading scorer. Everyone's waving their Hungry Jack signs in the crowd, but that's not happening here. 87, 84, make that 88. And United, you feel they've all but got it done here. They're not going to foul. Oh, they've turnover. Dear, oh dear, United will slow it down. And game 1 is in the books, Cambo. Melbourne United are winners. It wasn't pretty, but a 4-point win is a 4-point win.